Hello, intro class. Hey, I'm wanting to record a video to respond to a couple of things that are coming up in terms of questions that you have, but then also giving you a little bit of feedback on the first journal response, and then also the discussion board, kind of a response on that as well. The first thing I want to address, though, is your questions regarding the grading on the discussion board. I don't want you to fret about getting maybe half credit for what you thought was your post. I wouldn't worry too much about that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up the discussion board to grade according to 10 points for your post and 5 points for each response that you have. If I can't do that, I'll give you the full credit. So if you got 10 points for your post, that'll be full credit. I'm trying to make 5 points for each response that you get as well. And so don't fret. If you got 10 points on the post and 5 points for responses, then you probably got close to 20, and most of you did fine anyway. So don't worry too much about that. If I can't get it set up the way that I want to, I'll just correct it all to 20 points and just grade the post. But I think I can do that. And so I just want to give you some feedback on that. The second point is I want to quickly kind of talk about the feedback that I got on the journals. And I give personal responses to journals. I don't do a lot of feedback on the discussion boards. I let you guys talk about things. If something has gone really astray or people are not being civil in the discussion boards, then I'll definitely make comments and bring things back to where they need to be talking about. But in terms of the journal, the thing that I wanted to point out was the questions talk about subjectivity and objectivity and belief in God. And I'm trying to remember what the other one is. I need to probably look back at it as well. But the one I wanted to talk about was, is it possible to have some sort of objective view of the world? And many of the responses were that you could not have any objectivity at all. And so the challenge for that is that many of you said that we can't get at the world, that our beliefs and our feelings and our experiences taint the way that we see the world. But I just wanted to kind of point out, and I'm open to people having a skeptical view of the world, but I just think it's really a hard case to make. And particularly the responses that I got were, that was the thing that kept you from having an objective view of the world. But I want you to realize that that also assumes that you have an objective understanding of how people see the world. Meaning, if I think that my feelings or my biases or my experiences taint or keep me from seeing the world the way that it really is, how do I know that unless I have some sort of objective view of how someone perceives the world? The theory is that these things keep us from doing it. Well, how do we know that if we don't have an objective view of that? And so I'm trying to say that some sort of objectivity kind of comes into your view if you think that that's the way people observe the world. So pull yourself back and say, hey, this is how people are observing the world. This is how people interact with the world. They have some sort of bias and experience. But how do you know that? Unless you have some sort of objective view about how perception of the world works. And so it's kind of a self-refuting argument to say that to say that everything is subjective, because it takes an objective view to be able to say that. And so I think the case that I tried to make with most people is that maybe there are some things that we can straightforwardly see as objective, and we need to kind of be careful about that, in the sense that we need to be careful about maybe biases, maybe experiences, maybe something wrong with our environment that causes us to not see the world correctly. But there still might be certain situations where we do objectively see the world, that we do see facts, we do see real things in the world that aren't tainted by our beliefs, our feelings, things of that nature that help us, that interfere with that. So some things we can, but we just need to be careful about things that might interfere with that. And sometimes we might get things wrong, but oftentimes we do get things right. So that's kind of the point I wanted to point out regarding the epistemology of perception. that's the one thing. And I'm going to close it there. If I have more to say, I'll just start another video as well. So I've also updated the syllabus to reflect kind of that grading aspect of the discussion boards. And so you could get more information there. But just look for more coming on that in terms of updating your grades.